Hey guys, it's John from Los Angeles, Alpha Channel, May 4th, 2024, and I'm going to show you guys some artwork, see how this blocking looks. This may not be the one that we use, it might be. I'm doing this as low effort as possible, just so you know. I'm doing this as low effort as possible. Days of insane editing and big production stuff, you got to get paid for that. So this turned out better and worse than I'd hoped. That's one of the girls in a band. I'm focusing on, obviously, rendering and shadowing. Learning where to put the shadows and how to put the shadows. So that's what I'm working on. This one's just a little bit of line work, inking. These two brothers, Warren and Jamie. And this one I said I was going to stay away from the pencil stuff, but this one's actually pretty good. I'm going to ink it tonight. And so yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. My eyes are totally going. That's a bit of a problem. You know, I took my time learning to write, and now my eyes are failing. So if I'd spent all my time learning how to draw, I wouldn't know how to tell a story. It's a trade-off. So yeah, there's a few things I want to talk about today. The Comicsgate art auction is on in the background. There's some amazing work. One of the guys did a Batman with Bane up over his fist, like McFarlane did with Spider-Man and Hulk. It's just incredible work. There's a gouache, I think the guy's name was Shanth, did a gouache Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Leonardo. It's incredible, incredible. One of the guys, a big, huge pro, I want to say his name was Mike. Oh, I'm going to get this wrong, it's going to be embarrassing. He did a Bride of Frankenstein. Wow, you guys gotta see this art. You gotta go watch it. It's on Ethan's channel. Just go rewind. You gotta see this artwork. Because this is traditional artwork. It's not digital. It hasn't been fixed. It's done by hand with a brush. Just incredible. And yeah, I guess we can talk about the skateboards later, but the art stuff's good. And that's what I'm doing. That's why the skateboards matter now. I am doing kids skating instead of superheroes and demons. So I talked about this a little bit recently. One of my good friends, J.R. Silla, we went to animation school together, and he didn't want to draw satanic crap anymore. And I can't blame him. Drawing murder and fighting puts you in a mindset. He's like, dude, I just want to draw girls singing and dancing and, you know, playing music. And I did not get it. I was pushing him to do this big war between heaven and hell story. That was what I wanted to do. That's what was in my head. It was what I needed to get out. I needed to finish it. I needed to write the story to the end. And I have written the story to the end. I can see the whole thing in my head, so I'm not obsessed with it anymore. And now I'm focused on some of the beginning characters who happen to be girls in a rock band and their skateboarding friends. And the reason this is so awesome is because it's, you know, people jumping around, being active, and not being violent. And that's hard to get. You can sports and what? War. You know, that's pretty much all you've got. And so this is sports and war at the same time. One of the kids is named Warren, and he wears a football helmet. Because it's going to be cool. It's going to be cool. He wears a football helmet. And so I sought out this grip tape. I think this is Per Wirlinder, drawn for blind. And then Warfare. I don't know who did this. Looks like a riser pad melted on the board. Doesn't matter. It's gonna get ridden to death. This is a Vera, 6 red skulls. Can you imagine fighting 6 red skulls? He was a badass. He was a badass for a reason. And this is a Mongoose. I don't know how many of you guys remember Mongoose. They made bikes and skateboards in the 80s. This is a Mongoose demon. Mongoose. Doesn't seem like the best wood. I don't know how good it would hold up. The grip tape's shot, but I haven't trucked it yet. I'll probably ride it. I only peeled the plastic off because it was shredded and there's some damage here and there, but it's still an awesome skateboard. And this is a plastic wrapped Mongoose. It's taped because these were sold in stores. So it comes pre-gripped. But look at that. Whoo, the bones are cream colored and the background's black and white. Oh my God. This is just amazing. This is just amazing. So, yeah. That's the boards. They're getting ridden by characters in the comic. And so then there's this stuff to talk about for like what's what and why are you doing this, what makes you think you should do this, why are you doing this. Making movies has the same questions. Writing novels, the same questions. Who are you to do this? Video games, the thing about comics is where video games and novels and movies and TV shows. TV shows go under movies. Some purists like to talk about TV like it's important. It's not. It's just low budget movies. So film, which is video now, but narrated fiction with moving pictures on a screen, comics, novels, and video games. That's it. That's like really the big. There's what other mediums are there? Music and painting, but they don't tell a story. These are the big storytelling mediums. And video games is the biggest, but it's also one of the most challenging. It's less challenging than movies. Movies, artists are like cats. And to do anything with a group of artists is literally herding cats. So it takes a lot of effort. That's why it costs so much money. People are the most expensive thing in the world. People's time is the most expensive thing in the world. Money is practically worthless. It's people's time that's expensive. And respect. For some people, respect's easy if you respect yourself. That's one thing I wanted to talk about. I have a book recommendation for you guys. Lloyd C. Douglas's The Robe will teach you how to deal with difficult management in wherever you work. You're going to have challenges with communicating with your bosses. Your bosses are going to run into problems paying you. Your job is to do the work. Their job is to get paid by the client and then shuffle that money out to you. And there's always hiccups. The same as there's hiccups along the line of work, there's hiccups managing money. And some of those are deliberate and some of them are mistakes that need to be corrected, just like everyone. There's mistakes on a job site, there's mistakes in the editing booth, there's mistakes on set, there's mistakes writing, there's spelling errors. Everything happens. Like everything that can go wrong goes wrong. So you need to give management the same amount of leeway that they give you. And sometimes that's not a lot. And when management, it pressures the employees too much, the employees kick back, and then nobody's happy and everyone's fighting and you can't get anything done. So patience and respect go a long way, which brings me to what I want to talk about today, and that is lean into fire. Like lean into the obstacle. That's not the movie quote. Movie quote is related, but the obstacle is the way. That's one of those quotes or movie titles. I think it's an audio book. I listened to Stephen Pressfield's The War of Art, which is great since business is war and now art is business. Art is war, right? And war is art. So yeah. The movie quote for today is not the Christopher Walken Man on Fire quote. The movie quote for today is from Fallen, from the girl who's not a nun. She's a theology professor fighting demons because her dad was killed. And she says, everything's personal if you're a person. And that's important. And that goes right into lean into fire, and the obstacle is the way. Don't waste your time attacking lone towers if the city's unguarded. But if you go into the city and get drunk and sack the town, and there's still a standing army in that castle, well, when you come out, they're going to be arrayed in front of you, and you're done. Caesar did that once, and I meant to write a April 15th submission for the Antelope Hill competition about Rome, but I forgot this story. I was going to write about Caesar's pirate story. Caesar once got kidnapped by pirates before he was famous. He was just a badass as a kid. He'd been to war and won the equivalent of the Congressional Medal of Honor in Rome for the Roman army. And after that, he was going to college, and he was on the Mediterranean going from Italy to Rhodes, and his ship was captured by pirates. And he told them, when I get out of this, because they were doing such a bad job. From what I understand, he was kidnapped with a couple of tutors. There's a couple of servants, like servants of the family who would have really been like chaperones. Things in Rome were different, the kid had the money, but the chaperones did the interactions with the other public. And so They sent one of them back to the shore with a demand for, they were going to ask for 20 pieces of gold, 20 golden talents. And he said, no, I'm worth at least 50. And like, you're a kid. He's like, yeah, but I'm a Roman citizen. You idiots. Ask for 50 and you'll get it. Ask for 20 and they'll ignore you. And he told them, I'm going to have all you crucified. I swear to God, I'm going to put all you to death. You're so dumb. Like, that was his attitude toward them. The same way obnoxious kids are today. Obnoxious kids aren't competent today. Competence is everything. When you start giving everyone trophies, even if they don't win, you lose competency. And that's what we've lost. And so the obstacle is the way. That's why I'm in such a unique position right now. And you know what? It remains to be seen. It remains to be seen whether or not I'm in a unique position or just a shit talker. So over the next couple of years, I figure I'll get 600, 3 years of this, and I'll have 1,000 videos posted. If I get 1,000 videos posted and still 0 watches, then maybe I'll stop, but we'll see. So everything's personal if you're a person. And here's this story about Caesar that I wanted to tell. When he was warring with Pompey's armies, this was part of the civil war being fought in Gaul. It wasn't being fought in Rome. It was being fought outside of Rome. And another legion occupied a town halfway up a hill. It was a hill, right? Low hill, not a mountain, but a low hill with a foothill, where it's a plateau where there was a town, and then there was the rest of the hill. And they got to the town first in the afternoon, and Caesar's men didn't get to the base of the hill until like sunset, so they were late. And the next morning, so the guys are in the town partying. Here's what I'm talking about. Like, there's no citadel down there, but hear this story out. The guys are in town partying, having dinner. They're not arrayed in battle formation between Caesar and the town. So Caesar, well, the guys aren't watching, so he puts his men in formation and marches them up the hill, up the road, through the town to the crest of the mountain, above the town. So now they have the high ground. Now there's a thing, if you never served in the military, you've never done drill. In the military, they teach you how to walk. In high school wrestling, they teach you how to crawl. In the military, they teach you how to walk. But when you get to Kung Fu school, and I didn't get to Kung Fu school until after the Marine Corps, they teach you how to stand. So that would be, if I had a kid, I would teach them Jiu-Jitsu and Kung Fu first, and the military after. You don't need to learn how to shoot a gun until you know how to stand up. And Kung Fu stances, the 3,000 years of culture there, they have the best stances in the world. Once I learned my stances, I can do anything now. I am a fucking superhero. I can play hockey, I can ride a skateboard, all the shit that I couldn't do as a kid because my eyes were so fucked up. I'm now a physical god because of the strength in my calves, between my feet and knees. Knowing how to lock your feet to the floor is the most important thing you can ever learn. So, but back to Caesar's story. When you're in the military and you're in formation, you're left abreast and in step. So cover in a line, and no one breaks your ranks. If someone breaks your ranks, that's the one time you're allowed to not be left, right, robot. Grab them and physically throw them out of your ranks. And so that's a big thing. Caesar's men marched through that town, and no one broke ranks to come and fuck with them. You're not going to fuck with a whole army in arms, in armor, when you've been drinking and eating and you're not ready for it. You're basically getting jumped at dinner by someone who's fully geared up. You're going to be taken by surprise. And the opposing army, I don't remember who the general was. It wasn't Pompey. It was some other little guy. Not little, but littler than Caesar or Pompey. They didn't know what to do. And Caesar's men walked right through the town and occupied the high ground. And the next day, I think they won without even a fight. They just basically pushed them out of the town. And then they were doing this thing where they would build a fort and abandon it for better ground, and build a fort and abandon it for better ground. And then someone else would come in and take their fort. What they really were, the Roman army more than anything, was road builders. They were so where the Spartans were just soldiers, the Romans were laborers who could fight, and that proved to be much more effective for that time period. Spartans were more tyrants, Romans were more the people's army, and that's a big deal. So everything's personal if you're a person. Everything's personal if you're a person. Everyone is struggling. There was some guy on the radio not too long ago, an astronaut, talking about what would he tell himself if he were, younger. I think this was Patrick Madrid's show on Relevant Radio, and they had asked an astronaut, what would you tell yourself if you were younger? If you were, if you could go back and see yourself at 25 or 18 or whatever. He said, tell myself that everyone is struggling. Because he used to have the perspective that he's competing on an elite level and everyone below him was support staff and they didn't really have to worry about anything. All they had to worry about was him winning. But that's not true. Everyone is struggling. They don't care if you win or not. They'll find another janitorial job. They do not give a shit if you win. It means nothing to them. So everyone is struggling was his message to his younger self. And I was lucky. I got severely bullied as a kid, and I embraced the struggle early on, and it's paying off now. So there were a lot of times I could have given up or quit. I mean, you can always quit. I could have blown off this video today and started getting dark out, and I was like, oh, I missed my window. I'm not going to be able to do it. No, the obstacle is the way. I'm only halfway through my chest workout. I still have to do flies. But it was that or lose the sunlight. So, you got to make concessions too. The obstacle is the way. Maybe I'll do a couple extra sets of flies. So yeah. Let me see. I want to see if I missed anything. Because I write notes, but it doesn't always. Oh, this is important. Yeah, okay. You guys might not have heard the story of Angulimala. Angulimala in India was a demon. He was an outlaw bandit living on fringes of society, robbing people, chasing them. He was a murder hobo. I heard someone recently describe Conan as a murder hobo. He just wandered around and killed people who gave him a hard time. Which, fuck, man, that's the life. That's the life. So that was Angulimala, and he wore a necklace of severed human fingers. And he was a big problem for all the people in the area. And in India and China, sages wander around. You don't go to the church comes to you. They wander around and spread their message. And this is smart because they're mendicants, because they're beggars. They don't want to wear out their welcome, so they keep moving. And that way, you bring news, you bring something of value as long as you don't stay longer than 3 days, right? Because you stay longer than 3 days, you're just a loafer. So Angulimala was ravaging the hillsides, and the Buddha said, I'll take care of him. And he went out to find him. And Angulimala saw the Buddha walking on the road, and he went chasing after him, and he couldn't catch him. And the Buddha was just walking, so Anguli started running harder. This is from Alan Watts. You guys can find this. I know all my footnotes. This is a story I heard Alan Watts talk about. And it's from, the Hindu sutras. And so Buddha's walking, and Angulimala starts running, and he still can't catch him. He's running faster and faster and faster. And I understood the meaning of this yesterday. And so finally he stops and he's breathing hard, and the Buddha walks back and he's like, what's wrong, Angulimala, which means finger necklace. I don't know which is the first name. Bad is Mala, I'm pretty sure. So bad finger maybe is what his name meant. And he's frustrated he can't catch him. He's like, why can't I catch you? And he's like, well, I'm not running. Why don't you stop running? And this is really the two wolves idea, that the Angulimala is in you. The Angulimala is that rage in you that's always trying to force things and chase down and get and greed and attain and is in a hurry. And you don't have to hurry. Just wait. Just wait. Alex Hormozy said, it's easy to have patience. You just find something else to do. That's all there is to it. So there's things I have to wait right now in the video game. I have to finish paying off my car, and then I'm going to have an extra $350 a month to blow on not assets. I found a way to not pay for assets, but not pay for them. I'm in a group that basically, like, we're a company that shares assets amongst the employees, which is a really cool idea. But we do also, they need artists, and artists need developers. So I have to hire a couple developers out of this group, and then I can trade them with artwork, or they can, we can trade each other money, crypto. Crypto's great. So that's my obstacle, is my way right now. And yeah, everything's personal if you're a person. Okay, I'm missing art. Thanks, guys. See ya.